I don't think it was safe. That's not something I would do. Just wipe off the hand. Hi, my book peeps. It's Courtney. I'm sitting here having a little drinky drink here because I'm thirsty. Yum. So I'm here to talk to you about the book Lights Out. Okay, this is that viral TikTok dark historical romance. Okay, it is part of a 3-book series. This is the first book. The other 2 are not out yet. Okay, now this book, I see what all the hype is about. I see what it's about. You know, I'm going to tell you some spoilers. Okay, so if you're not into spoilers, this is not the video for you. Okay, but if you're not really caring, if you already read the book, or if you don't plan, then stick around. Okay, so this book basically is dual perspective. You have Allie and you have Josh. And Josh has some daddy issues. Okay, his daddy was a serial killer when he was younger, and somehow he has transferred those daddy issues into him making sexy thirst trap videos where he's half naked, covered in blood, with a big old knife and a face mask on social media. And you have Allie, who, you know, she loves these thirst trap videos. She's a trauma nurse, so this is how she relieves stress. Now, she's been hooking up with Josh's roommate. She sends him a little message saying, hey, look at this screenshot. Why don't you do something about it? And he's like, nah, fam, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. He goes ahead and shows his roommate, Josh. Nobody knows Josh is a thirst trap model, right? And Josh is like, she into some stuff. So he breaks into her apartment, you know, leaves his mask, films a video, and it goes from there. Okay, gets a little hot, gets a little heated. There's some things that happen. You get a dead body. They handle some stuff, right? That's pretty much the gist of it. It's a dark romance. You know they're going to get together in the end. Now, I had problems. I had a whole lot of problems with this book. Okay, it was sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the scenes, you know, got your girl a little heated. I enjoyed it. Very unique. You know, they did some things with a knife. I have not seen that in a book. I don't think it was safe. That's not something I would do. But go ahead with your bad self, okay? Just wipe off the hand. Now, I had a problem first off with Tyler. That's the roommate. Tyler, do you not care about this woman at all? Like, is there such disrespect these days for hookups? And I'm not one for just friendly, blase hookups, okay? Because, you know, your girl here is something worth wifing up, okay? But Tyler has been hooking up with Allie for well over a year and just is completely okay with her now hooking up with his roommate. What's wrong with that picture? I feel disrespected and upset for Allie. Josh nor Allie seem to care that Tyler just threw her over with not even batting an eye. That to me is a problem. Plus, not to mention, Josh, is there some sort of bro code? Because I know if my homegirls hooked up with an ex of mine, we gonna have some problems. So let me know. Maybe I'm off base here. Also, this book is very millennial oriented, okay? There's a lot of social media. There is a lot of technologies that's used to basically just dig into any and everybody's business. Also to do some illegal activity and stalking and stuff like that, which, you know, Allie didn't seem to mind. I have an issue with who's tracking this, okay? Who's tracking this? It just hit a little bit too close to home with this age of government getting into your business and corporations and all that stuff. So to me, I was a bit triggered by that. I was also triggered about all the stuff surrounding Allie and her healthcare profession, okay? Because Allie is a trauma nurse. Now, I'm not a trauma nurse, but I can relate to the healthcare burnout, especially with COVID and being understaffed and, you know, seeing some people that maybe shouldn't be in healthcare because, you know, their mental health isn't right and is on the decline, but you're more worried about, we don't need you to quit because we need you as a body. We're already short-staffed. So I was just triggered by that. Now, that doesn't even include the sketchy patients that you get and still having to help them. But this book was really right on when it talked about just all the nuances of healthcare in America. Somebody did their research on this one. Now, at some points, Allie reveals that her family has some sort of mob ties, and there's a tie-in with the dead body in that. Oops. And I was very impressed with the efficiency of the mob. I think the mob is more efficient than the government. So kudos to y'all for being able to get everything done in the most efficient way possible and with the least number of personnel. I think several organizations could very much take a lesson from this mob efficiency. If it wasn't for them being so illegal, I would put in an application. Hey bro, are you hiring? Now I will say though that I had an issue with Allie because your mob family is doing their thing. They took care of some stuff for you, no questions asked. But you sitting there acting like you're ungrateful. What happened to I'm gonna take care of some stuff, don't ask how it got done? Allie didn't get the memo. She acting like they owe her something. And this whole Josh reveal, right? So Josh is walking around like wearing a mask around Allie and disguising his voice like he's Batman or something and using a synthesizer. It was just dumb. The whole thing, like, I don't understand. You hooking up with this person that you don't even know, putting your hands in your mouth in places. Ugh. But I will say that when the actual reveal came, it was just very anticlimactic and I was let down by that. And then Josh, for all of his creativity, because bro has some creativity, I tell you that. But he came off as like Mr. Dark and mysterious and in control. But all of a sudden you're dealing with a dead body and you're like, all this stuff. I'm like, dude, come on now, buck up. And Allie, she was talking about how she wanted a guy with a dark spirit that basically can kill somebody and not bat an eye and sleep at night. That definitely is not Josh, because he turned the tables as soon as stuff got real. I guess he don't take a page out of his daddy's handbook. I was a bit disappointed at that too. And lastly, I will say that the fantasies in the book and how they were portrayed came out really, really well. Really good. In the end, there was a some people would say problematic grape without the G fantasy that was played out kind of as a challenge to run through the woods type thing. It was done well, let's just say that. But overall, I enjoyed the book. It was sexy and it was funny. They had some very unique parts. Some were kind of drawn out, but I did enjoy it and I definitely think it is worth a read. Now, would I continue in the series? You know, I'm not sure. This one was pretty unique. I read the synopsis for the second book. I guess it involves her mob cousin, and I don't know how that would necessarily play out. To me, it doesn't seem like that same vibe that's in this particular first book, so I don't know. We'll see, but it's not out yet, so not worried about that. But let me know if you've read this book, if you plan to read this book, and definitely what you thought of it, okay? Especially the knife scene, the bedroom knife scene, what you thought of that, okay? Okay, I'm gonna finish my drink. Like, subscribe, and I definitely want to know some comments. Bye, y'all.